Hey everyone, I'm Noah and welcome to Blackthornprod. Now, Blackthornprod has just recently reached 10,000 subscribers. For me, that's absolutely awesome, and I really want to thank each and every person having supported me on this journey so far. To celebrate this event, I decided to make a small Q&A video answering some of your questions. Of course, if I don't end up answering your question here, definitely head over to the BTP Discord server. There you can ask me questions, share your games with an awesome community, of course ask for help, request videos. It's a really great place, awesome people there, and so yeah, definitely join the server, the link is in the description. So first things first, how did I learn game development? So the way I really improved and learned game dev was, well, just by making loads of games. Roughly 3 years ago, I was really obsessed with watching hours and hours of YouTube videos, Udemy courses, tutorials on the Unity website. And that is really great, but I learned so much more by just dreaming up an idea and then making that idea, really turning that whole game idea into an actual game. The first project I actually made on my own was called Raining Apocalypse. I made this roughly 1.5 years ago, and though I had made much more complex games looking at tutorial series, making Raining Apocalypse was a huge challenge, but I learned so much and I really grew like crazy as a developer just by really making that on my own and not always following what somebody else was telling me to do. When I got stuck on maybe some programming problem or something related to art, that's when I would watch a tutorial and then apply what I had learned to my actual game project. For Raining Apocalypse, for example, I had no idea how to get my character moving off one edge of the screen and then pop out from the other edge. So I searched the internet, found a great tutorial on how to do so, and then implemented that new knowledge into Raining Apocalypse, and that's really how I learned like crazy. Sometimes I would also watch a whole tutorial series, for example how to make a simple top-down shooter in Unity, and instead of doing exactly as the guy teaching the stuff, I would try and add my own unique twist to the game by making more levels, adding different enemy types. If I was taught how to make UI for health, for example, I would really try and use that new knowledge to also make UI for a simple scoring system, for example. So to recap, I learned loads by just making loads of games and also watching tutorials and then applying what I had learned with those tutorials into my own projects. Alright, what's your favorite and worst part of game design? So just a quick reminder, game design represents everything that has to do with the game mechanics, dreaming up the game's different interactions. It can also mean coming up with the story, and that's actually something that I have a lot of fun doing. I love dreaming up the game's story, and very often I use the story as a starting point for my projects. I love how the story influences everything from the art, the animation, gameplay, all the way to the nitty-gritty details like UI, scene transitions. It also influences the music, the audio. Some of my projects don't even feature actual gameplay. For example, They Have No Choice, which was a game I made for the Meta Game Jam, has been called a walking simulator because of the very limited amount of game interactions and stuff the player could actually do in that game world. And that limited freedom was actually part of the game's story, which I had a huge amount of fun just blending into my game, coming up, writing the dialogue. That was just a really awesome project to work on. So yeah, story is definitely a favorite of mine when it comes to game design. It's hard for me to pinpoint something I actually don't like. I must admit, there's everything to do with game design I really enjoy. If we widen this question to game development though, I would easily say that programming is my least favorite part of this whole game creation process. Though finishing a tricky script and seeing it actually work inside of your game does feel really awesome. Alright, what games do you like? My all-time favorites are Spelunky, Hollow Knight, Super Meat Boy, The Binding of Isaac. I'm also particularly fond of the game Inside by Playdead. So yeah, as you can see, I'm really passionate about indie games. Though I also do love Dark Souls. I'm a real fan of the XCOM series. In the past, I was completely hooked to Clash of Clans and Hearthstone. But since then, my interest in multiplayer games has dropped. Are you working on some projects? As a matter of fact, I've just finished my final high school exams, which means I'm going full-time Blackthornprod in game development from now on. A few weeks before these exams though, I started this really cool challenge, which basically consists in making one game every week. For now I've made 5 games in a row like this. You can play all of them directly in your browser and the link is in the description. This is a really awesome and fun challenge because it really allows me to test new, interesting game ideas. For the near future though, I'm planning on of course participating in more game jams, make lots of YouTube videos, and begin work on my very first complete course on how to animate 2D game characters. This will be a big constructed series filled with tips, challenges, and really cool files to download. Once finished, I'll be uploading it to Udemy or Skillshare for you to purchase for a couple dollars. And I promise you it'll be worth your time and money. Alright, next up, can everybody draw? Of course, definitely. Even if you're really untalented, you can get better. And the only way to do so is draw lots and lots. Life drawing, though tough and not necessarily very fun, will make you improve a lot. This is a screenshot of the very first game I made using Construct 2 roughly 3 years ago. As you can see, I've improved a lot since, and the only way I did this was by drawing and creating for hours on end. Really try and not compare your art to that of others. You can of course use others' works as source of inspiration, but as I said in my video on the top 5 game dev struggles, if you compare yourself too much, you can also get discouraged. So really just try and focus on the progress you've been making and have fun. Also remember that great technical art skills is not necessary to be an amazing artist, to make great art. Some of my favorite pieces, some of my favorite character designs and games have very simple art, very sketchy, very loose, but it's really the style and imagination behind those designs that make them pop. Lastly, where do I come from? So I was born in France, but I have a Scottish mum and an English dad. To erase all doubt, I'm a lot more comfortable speaking English than French, and I actually prefer the language. Alright, those were the top questions of today's Q&A video. Again, if I didn't answer yours, definitely head over to the Discord server and I'll be sure to do so. I'm so excited to continue growing as a developer, working on Blackthornprod, and yeah, really just sharing my journey and my knowledge with you. You're an amazing community and I really want to help you out on your own creative journey as much as I can. One last thing, you can actually support me financially via Patreon, like these top supporters. Even $1 will be just so appreciated. Alright, have a great day, stay tuned, cheers!